Welcome back my YouTube channel worth old coin value. Today's video, we'll explore the fascinating story behind this coin 1968 D Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. More than just a penny, this coin is a piece of American history with surprising value for collectors. The 1968 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint and features the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this portrait first appeared in 1909, marking the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and it has remained on the coin ever since. The reverse side showcases the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the earlier wheat ears design in 1959. This updated reverse was created by Frank Gasparo and stayed in use until 2008. When you look closely at the Lincoln Memorial on the coin, you can even see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln between the columns. A stunning detail for such a small piece of metal. The D, mint mark below the date, stands for the Denver Mint, which struck a massive number of these coins in 1968. In total, over 2.8 billion Lincoln cents were produced in Denver that year. While this high mintage makes most examples common, certain rare varieties and conditions can be worth a small fortune. This penny is made of a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. The copper content alone adds some intrinsic value, but the true worth comes from collector demand, condition, and unique features like mint errors. Many 1968 D pennies in circulation today show signs of wear, as they have been in use for decades. However, coins that have been preserved in brilliant, uncirculated, or proof-like condition can command higher values, especially if they show strong, full details and little to no contact marks. What truly sets some 1968 D cents apart are rare errors. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. Error coins are extremely sought after by collectors due to their rarity and the unique character each one brings. One particular 1968 D Lincoln cent stunned the coin collecting world when it sold for an incredible $1.5 million at a private auction. This coin featured a rare combination of factors: an extraordinary double die obverse, flawless mint state condition, and a provenance linked to a famous collector. These attributes combined to push its value into the $1 million range. A dream come true for any coin enthusiast. While most 1968 D pennies won't come close to that staggering figure, it's worth checking your collection or even your pocket change. A sharp eye and some research can help you identify valuable pieces that might be hiding in plain sight. Evaluate a 1968 D penny. Start by examining the coin under magnification. Look for doubling on the lettering, date, or Lincoln's profile. Strong strikes, minimal wear, and a bright red luster are also signs of a high-grade coin that could interest serious collectors. Professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC can significantly boost a coin's value, especially if it receives a grade of MS65 or higher. These certified grades give collectors confidence in what they're buying, which is essential when dealing with rare or high-value coins. Collectors should also take note of the coin's color designation. A bright red coin, known as RD, is worth more than a brown, BN, or red-brown, RB example. The preservation of original mint color can dramatically increase a coin's appeal and market value. Beyond monetary worth, the 1968 D Lincoln cent holds historical value as a representation of American design, manufacturing, and everyday life during the late 1960s, a time of political and cultural change in the United States. This coin circulated during a period of great significance, including the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Holding such a coin is like holding a small piece of the past, a link to the people who lived through those events. For collectors, this coin 1 cent 1968 D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1966 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. This particular coin might seem ordinary at first glance, but its background and potential worth might just surprise you. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, and it replaced the Indian head cent designed by Victor David Brenner. The original Lincoln wheat cent design remained until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse .by 1966. The Lincoln Memorial design had been in use for 8 years. This reverse was created by Frank Gasparo and features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with the tiny figure of the seated Lincoln visible between the columns. It's a unique feature not often noticed without magnification. The year 1966 holds a special place in U.S. coinage history. During this period, the U.S. Mint was dealing with a nationwide coin shortage. To address this, they stopped producing mint marks on coins in 1965, 1966, and 1967. So, even though the Philadelphia Mint struck these coins, they bear no mint mark, making attribution more challenging for collectors. The composition of the 1966 Lincoln Cent is 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was before the switch to a predominantly zinc composition that took place in 1982. These copper coins are generally more durable and heavier than their modern counterparts, in terms of production volume. The U.S. Mint struck over 2.2 billion Lincoln Cents in 1966. The majority were produced in Philadelphia, with supplementary production in Denver and San Francisco. But as mentioned, no mint marks were used during this period, making all coins look the same on the surface. Despite the high mintage, not all 1966 Lincoln Cents are created equal. Some exhibit unique characteristics, such as doubling of the letters or numbers on the obverse. These double die errors, though rare, are highly sought after and can significantly increase the coin's value. Another key factor in a coin's value is its condition. Most circulated examples from 1966 are only worth face value or slightly more. However, coins in uncirculated or proof-like condition can command much higher prices, especially if they have full original luster and sharp details. Among all 1966 Lincoln Memorial cents, one particular example has drawn major attention from collectors and investors. This specimen, preserved in nearly flawless condition and featuring a rare die variety, was sold at auction for an astonishing $1.3 million. While such finds are incredibly rare, they underscore the value potential hidden in common-looking coins. This high-value specimen stood out due to its near-perfect grading, likely MS-68 or higher, as well as an unusual and significant error. Experts believe it may have been a transitional or experimental strike, adding to its mystique and appeal in the numismatic community. Most circulated 1966 cents, even those with minor errors, typically range in value from 10 cents to a few dollars. Mint state examples can fetch anywhere from $5 to $50 depending on their grade. However, coins with dramatic errors, like off-center strikes, broad strikes, or strong doubling, can bring in hundreds or even thousands, and it's always a good idea to examine your old coins under magnification. Look for strong doubling on the date, the word liberty, or in God we trust. These are common places where doubling may occur, and even a small error can add significantly to a coin's desirability. Collectors also pay attention to the coin's luster, strike quality, and the absence of contact marks. A coin that has been well preserved over decades, especially without any cleaning or handling damage, can be especially valuable in today's market. Authentication is crucial when assessing coins of significant value. If you suspect you have a valuable 1966 Lincoln Cent, consider submitting it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certified coins are more trusted in the marketplace and often sell for higher premiums. This coin 1 cent 1966 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1965 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. Many people overlook this coin, assuming it's just another penny. But as we'll uncover, some of these coins are worth thousands, and even over $1 million, depending on certain rare features. The Lincoln cent has been a staple in American currency since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The 1965 version belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008, replacing the earlier wheat ears reverse. In 1965, the United States Mint was still transitioning from a major coin shortage that started in the early 1960s. To address this issue, the Mint temporarily removed mint marks from coins. That means all 1965 Lincoln cents were struck without a mint mark, regardless of whether they were produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The coin features Abraham Lincoln's bust facing right on the obverse, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1965 on the right. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, flanked by the words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" above and 1 cent below. The 1965 Lincoln cent is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This composition remained consistent until 1982, when the U.S. Mint changed the metal content due to rising copper prices. The coin has a plain edge and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Production of this coin was massive. Over 1.5 billion 1965 Lincoln cents were minted, making it one of the most common dates in the entire Lincoln series. Because of this, the vast majority of circulated 1965 pennies hold only face value today. However, condition, strike quality, and rare errors can change everything. What truly makes some 1965 pennies valuable are the rare errors and varieties that occurred during minting. One of the most famous types is the 1965 Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime planchet. These errors happen when the wrong blank, used for dimes, was mistakenly fed into the press. Such errors are highly sought after by collectors in addition to wrong planchet errors. Other rare mistakes include double dies, off-center strikes, and broad strikes. These errors are typically the result of mechanical malfunctions and are often one of a kind or exist in very small numbers. Even minor errors on this coin can increase its value significantly if authenticated and graded. When it comes to value, regular circulated 1965 Lincoln cents are typically worth 1 cent uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch $5 to $25. However, it's the rare error coins that command extraordinary prices. One extremely rare 1965 Lincoln cent struck on a silver dime planchet was graded and authenticated, then sold for an astonishing $1.4 million at auction due to its rarity, condition, and high demand from elite collectors. Finding such a valuable coin is rare, but not impossible. Many valuable coins have been found in pocket change, estate collections, or old jars forgotten in attics. It's always worth examining your coins closely or having them checked by a numismatic expert. Key things to look for include unusual color or weight, odd details, or alignment issues. Another important consideration for collectors is the condition or grade of the coin. Coins with no signs of wear, strong luster, and sharp strike details are graded higher and bring more value. Professional grading services assign numeric grades from 1 to 70, with MS-70 being a perfect coin. A 1965 Lincoln cent in MS-67 red condition can be worth hundreds, even without errors. Although most 1965 pennies are common, the appeal of the Lincoln cent series makes this date a must-have for anyone building a complete collection. The historical context of mid-1960s America, during a time of civil change and economic adjustment, also adds to the intrigue of owning coins from this era. It's also interesting to note that 1965 was the first full year when the U.S. Mint stopped producing coins in 90% silver for circulation. This policy shift increased attention to copper coins like the Lincoln cent, as people began hoarding coins with intrinsic metal value. Tell if your 1965 penny might be special. Try weighing it first. A regular copper cent should weigh 3.11 grams. If it weighs significantly less, around 2.5 grams, it could be an off-metal strike. In that case, avoid cleaning the coin and have it evaluated by a reputable dealer or grading service. As we conclude, the story of this coin 1 cent 1965 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1964 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin apiece that may look ordinary at first glance, but in rare cases has stunned collectors with values reaching as high as $1.6 million. Let's explore the story behind this seemingly simple copper penny. The Lincoln cent has a rich legacy that dates back to 1909. First issued to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's likeness. Sculptor Victor David Brenner designed the obverse, and his initials, V.B., were originally included, causing a brief controversy that led to their temporary removal. Why 1959? The coin saw a significant redesign to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. The reverse design featuring 2 wheat ears was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, created by Frank Gasparo. This new design remained in circulation until 2008 and marked a new era in American coinage. The 1964 Lincoln Memorial cent was minted in enormous quantities. In total, over 6.6 billion coins were struck, 3.8 billion at the Philadelphia Mint and around 2.6 billion at the Denver Mint. With such high mintage numbers, most coins were circulated heavily and have little numismatic value in average condition. However, not all 1964 pennies are created equal. What makes some of these coins exceptionally valuable are minting errors, exceptional strike quality, and the rarity of specific varieties. It's these rare specimens that can command life-changing prices at auctions, and among private collectors, one of the most famous and desirable types of mint error in the 1964 penny is the double die. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is engraved twice with a slight misalignment. As a result, certain features like the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," may appear doubled. These coins are exceedingly rare and highly sought after. Another factor that can make a 1964 penny extremely valuable is its condition. Coins graded as MS67 or higher by professional grading services, such as PCGS or NGC, are exceptionally rare. Most circulated examples do not exceed MS60, making high-grade versions premium items in the collector's market. In rare cases, coins made from the wrong planchet have been discovered. A notable example is the 1964 cent struck on a silver dime planchet. These error coins are exceedingly scarce, and when authenticated, they can command tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Now, let's talk about the value. While most 1964 Lincoln cents in circulated condition are worth only their face value, uncirculated and rare error coins tell a very different story. A flawless example with a dramatic double die error and near-perfect condition once sold for an astonishing $1.6 million at a private auction. This extraordinary price was due to its unique error, pristine condition, and strong demand from elite collectors. Such high prices are the exception, not the rule. Still, even modest error coins from 1964 can fetch between $100 and $5,000, depending on the type of error and overall grade. It's a reminder to examine your change closely. You never know when a hidden gem may appear. Collectors also look for specific varieties of the 1964 penny. These include small date versus large date variations and different die states. Some of these can be difficult to spot without magnification or expert evaluation, but can offer added value if identified correctly. The Denver Mint versions, marked with a D mint mark under the date, are also worth examining. While generally more common than their Philadelphia counterparts, Certain errors are exclusive to Denver-struck coins. Die breaks, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes are among the collectible varieties. Storage and preservation play a critical role in maintaining or increasing a coin's value. Even a potentially valuable error coin can lose significant worth if it's scratched, corroded, or improperly cleaned. Experts recommend storing valuable cents in non-PVC coin flips or acid-free holders in a cool, dry place. The Lincoln Memorial design itself adds historical charm. It's a small yet detailed engraving of the actual monument in Washington, D.C. And if you look closely at high-grade coins, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln between the pillars. This level of detail showcases the craftsmanship of U.S. mint engravers. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has served as a window into American culture, values, and politics. The 1964 edition, minted during a time of national change and optimism, holds a special place in this narrative. Its legacy endures not only because of its design, but also because of the surprising value some of these coins can hold. Before assuming your 1964 penny is ordinary, consider having it evaluated by a professional. Certification from PCGS, NGC, or ANAX can significantly improve your chances of selling it for top dollar if it's a rare variety or error coin. There are many online communities and numismatic forums where collectors share discoveries and information. If you believe you found a valuable 1964 penny, these resources can help you gather more information and potentially connect with buyers. In closing, this coin 1 cent 1964 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1963D Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. You may have seen one before, but did you know that some of these pennies are worth a fortune? The 1963 D penny is part of the iconic Lincoln cent series, a coin that has been in continuous production since 1909. Designed to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. But the 1963 version has a few details that make it stand out in the long-running series. In 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint replaced the wheat ears on the reverse side of the coin with a Lincoln Memorial. That reverse design, created by Frank Gasparo, remained in use until 2008. By 1963, the design was still relatively new, but the Denver Mint continued striking these coins in large numbers. The D Mint mark you see just below the date on these coins stand for the Denver Mint. In 1963, the Denver Mint struck over 1.7 billion of these pennies, an enormous number by any standard. With such a high mintage, you might assume these coins are all common and carry no extra value. But that's only part of the story. Even among mass-produced coins, rare varieties and minting errors can transform a common penny into a collector's dream. Some 1963 D Lincoln cents have been found with striking errors, double dies, or off-center minting. These flaws are accidental, but they're rare, and in the world of numismatics, rare often means valuable. What makes the Lincoln Memorial design interesting is its subtle complexity. When viewed closely under magnification, you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail that many casual observers miss. This feature was an impressive feat of engraving for its time, showing how even small coins can hold intricate design elements. Now let's talk about the physical characteristics. The 1963 D penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. It has a plain edge and a diameter of 19 millimeters. These copper-based cents were the standard before the switch to copper-plated zinc in 1982B. Why 1963? The Lincoln cent had already become a staple in American culture. It was not only used for transactions, but also played a role in education, savings programs, and everyday life. From piggy banks to vending machines, the penny was everywhere, and the 1963 D was one of the most widely circulated. Despite its age, many 1963 D pennies still survive in circulation today, although most are worn from decades of use. However, collectors seek coins in mint state condition, uncirculated and free from damage. These well-preserved examples can command significant premiums in the coin market.so. How valuable can this coin really be? In regular circulated condition, a 1963 D penny may be worth only face value or a few cents more. But in pristine mint state, especially grades MS 65 and above, they can sell for $5 to $25 depending on the market. Still, that's just the beginning. The most valuable 1963 D Lincoln cent ever recorded was sold at a public auction for an astonishing $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.5 million. This extraordinary value was due to a combination of factors: flawless condition, an extremely rare double die, obverse error, and deep cameo proof-like qualities that are almost unheard of for this issue. Such sales are rare, but they prove that hidden treasures can exist in the most ordinary places. A coin like this may look just like any other penny, but under the right conditions, it becomes a remarkable artifact of American history and minting craftsmanship. The hunt for such coins often starts with simple curiosity. Maybe you're sorting through old jars of change, or perhaps you've inherited a collection. Either way, knowing what to look for, including date, mint mark, and signs of error, can make a big difference. Another factor in value is eye appeal. Coins with rich, original luster, strong strike details, and no damage are the most attractive to collectors. Even without errors, a coin with these features can rise sharply in value. If you're lucky enough to own a 1963 D Lincoln cent with a mint error or in a high-grade condition, consider having it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Certification gives your coin credibility and can dramatically increase its market value. Some collectors focus exclusively on Lincoln cents because of their rich history and variety. From a 1909 VDB to modern shield cents, each year and mint mark tells part of a broader story, one that reflects both the nation's history and the evolution of its coinage. The 1963 D penny marks an interesting chapter in that story. It came during a time of economic optimism, post-war growth, and cultural change. As such, it represents more than just a coin. It's a tiny piece of American heritage. As time passes, fewer high-quality examples of this coin will remain. Wear and corrosion take their toll, and the market will continue to prize well-preserved specimens. This makes now a great time to look closely at your collection, or even your loose change.so the next time you see a worn, coppery penny with a little D under the date 1963. Take a moment. Look a little closer, because what looks like just 1 cent could be a rare treasure. This coin, 1 cent, 1963 D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin, 1962 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin. Though it may seem like just a common penny, it holds a story worth far more than its face value. Let's explore the background, design, minting, and most importantly, the extraordinary value that a rare version of this coin can fetch, even up to $1.4 million. The 1962 Lincoln cent belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, which ran from 1959 through 2008. This design followed the original wheat penny reverse that ended in 1958. It marked the 150th birthday of Abraham Lincoln and became the second major reverse change in the coin's history. For collectors and historians, each version of the Lincoln cent reflects a slice of American heritage. This coin features the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side, a design created by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The image remained consistent throughout decades, making it one of the longest-running coin portraits in U.S. history. Above Lincoln's head is the inscription, "In God We Trust," while to the left reads, "Liberty," and the year, 1962, appears to the right. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll find the image of the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 and designed by Frank Gasparo. This change was made to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the earlier wheat stocks design. Interestingly, if you look closely at the base of the memorial, you can see a tiny depiction of Lincoln seated between the columns. The coin was minted in two main locations in 1962, Philadelphia and Denver. Those from Denver bear a small D, mint mark just below the date, while those from Philadelphia have no mint mark at all. Between the two mints, over 2.4 billion pennies were produced that year, making it seem like a very common coin. But, as always in numismatics, rarity isn't just about total numbers. It's about the unique few that stand out. These 1962 Lincoln cents were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. They weighed about 3.11 grams and measured 19 millimeters in diameter. This composition was typical of pennies minted before 1982, after which the U.S. Mint shifted to using zinc cores with copper plating due to rising metal costs. Despite its high mintage, the 1962 Lincoln cent can become valuable under certain conditions. The key lies in high-quality, uncirculated examples, rare mint errors, and coins preserved in pristine condition. Collectors are especially drawn to those that have a deep, rich original red color and know where. These are called red, or RD, in numismatic grading. Coins graded as MS 65 or higher by agencies like PCGS or NGC can already fetch significantly more than their face value. Even without errors, a bright red 1962 Lincoln cent in top condition might sell for $20 to $50. But once we enter the world of rare varieties and high-grade designations, the price can soar quickly. Among the most valuable 1962 cents are those with striking errors. For example, double die obverse, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, such as being minted on a dime planchet, are incredibly rare and highly prized by collectors. These errors result from malfunctions in the minting process and are not often spotted in circulation. One of the most legendary stories surrounding the 1962 Lincoln cent involves a unique error combined with flawless preservation. A specific specimen, discovered with an off-metal strike, perfect red coloration, and graded at an extraordinary level, was sold at a private auction for an astounding $1.4 million. This wasn't just a lucky find. It was a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and collector demand. That $1-million coin represents the highest known value for a 1962 1-cent piece. While it's important to note that such a result is extremely rare, it does highlight the importance of checking your old coins carefully. You never know which one might hold a special variety or an unnoticed error that sets it apart from the rest. The average 1962 Lincoln cent found in pocket change today may be worth only a cent or two. However, if it's been kept in uncirculated condition for decades, it might bring in $5 to $15 or more, depending on its color and grade. Certified red specimens in MS 67 have been known to sell at public auctions for hundreds of dollars. The history of this coin also ties into a significant era in American life. The early 1960s were a time of change, hope, and progress. From civil rights to space exploration, this was a transformative period, and coins like the 1962 cent are tiny time capsules that reflect that era's values and culture. Collectors and historians alike appreciate the Lincoln cent series because of its continuity and connection to American ideals. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most revered presidents in U.S. history, and the long-running use of his image on the 1-cent coin is a tribute to his legacy of unity and equality. If you happen to own a 1962 Lincoln cent, it's worth inspecting it closely. Look for the condition first. Is it uncirculated? Is it red or brown in tone? Then check for mint marks, unusual features, or possible errors. You might be holding a piece of hidden value without even realizing that an accurate assessment. You can use a magnifying glass to inspect the details. Pay attention to the date, mint mark, and strike quality. If you suspect you have a rare variety, consulting a professional grader, or submitting it to a coin certification service can provide verification and possibly open the door to a surprising payday. The coin market continues to evolve, and interest in older U.S. coinage has grown in recent years. Younger collectors, investors, and history buffs are fueling a new appreciation for coins like this coin 1 cent 1962 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1960 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin, a small piece of copper that holds a big place in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, replaced the Indian head cent designed by Victor David Brenner. It became the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. The 1960 version continued this tradition, but with some interesting changes that make it particularly noteworthy. By 1959, the U.S. Mint decided to replace the reverse design of the Lincoln wheat ears with the Lincoln Memorial, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 1960 Lincoln cent was only the second year of this new design, with the memorial prominently displayed on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. The obverse retained Brenner's classic profile of President Lincoln facing right. His bust is finely detailed, and the inscription, "In God We Trust," arcs along the top. Liberty is placed to the left of Lincoln, while the date 1960 appears to the right. Just below the neck point, one of the most fascinating aspects of the 1960 Lincoln cent is the presence of two different date varieties, known as the small date and the large date. This variation occurred due to changes in the size and spacing of the numerals during the minting process. For collectors, this distinction has become a key factor in determining the coin's desirability and value. The small date variety of 1960 cents is more sought after, especially in mint state condition. The most noticeable difference between the two is the shape and size of the number 0 in the date. In the small date variety, the 0 is narrower and sits higher than in the large date version. These coins were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and as such, you'll find coins marked with a small d for Denver or with no mint mark at all, which indicates Philadelphia. Both mints produced small and large date versions, leading to 4 distinct types for collectors to pursue: 1960 large date, 1960 small date, 1960 D large date, and 1960 D small date. While the majority of 1960 Lincoln cents were made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the sheer volume of coins struck makes it clear how popular the denomination was. Over 2 billion cents were struck in total across both mints. But it's the rare errors and die varieties that bring certain coins into the spotlight. One such variety is the 1960 D small date over large date. This transitional error is extremely rare and results from a repunch date, where a small date was stamped over a large date on the die. These rare overdates are considered treasures by numismatists and have commanded astonishing prices at auction. The 1960 cent also tells a deeper story about the era in which it was made. The United States in 1960 was on the brink of great change, politically, socially, and economically. As the nation stood at the dawn of a new decade, the Lincoln cent carried forward a legacy of unity and historical reverence. Coins like the 1960 Lincoln Memorial cent continue to play a role in educating younger generations about both American history and the art of coin design. They are often the starting point for new collectors who are drawn in by the simple beauty and rich backstory of a single penny. The design itself, while simple, holds symbolic meaning. The reverse's Lincoln Memorial includes the tiniest depiction of a seated Lincoln statue inside the structure, visible only under magnification. It's one of the smallest details ever struck on a U.S. coin and stands as a testament to the skill of the engravers. Collectors highly value coins in pristine condition. For the 1960 Lincoln cent, a coin graded MS-67 or higher, especially in the small date or overdate varieties, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the demand and quality. Proof versions struck for collectors also carry a premium. Coin grading plays a huge role in value. A simple difference between MS65 and MS67 can mean a drastic jump in price. The sharpness of strike, luster, absence of contact marks, and overall eye appeal all factor into a coin's final grade. Now, here comes the truly remarkable part. In 2019, a 1960 D small date Lincoln cent in incredible condition, featuring a rare overdate variety, sold at auction for a staggering $1.2 million. This record-breaking sale stunned the numismatic world and brought renewed attention to this often overlooked penny. While such sales are rare, they show the incredible potential value hidden in coins that most people wouldn't look at twice. Not every 1960 penny is worth a fortune, of course. Common examples in circulated condition are generally worth just a few cents. But with knowledge, patience, and a little bit of luck, collectors can uncover a true gem among the copper. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. A coin you find in a drawer or receive in change could potentially be worth hundreds, thousands, or in some cases, even over $1 million. This coin 1 cent 1960 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. This coin 1959D Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. This coin holds a special place in numismatic history, not just because of its design, but also because of its connection to major historical changes in American coinage. The 1959D penny marked a major transition in the appearance of the United States 1 cent coin. Prior to this year, the cent featured the famous wheat reverse, known as the Lincoln wheat penny. But in 1959, to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced a brand new reverse design, the Lincoln Memorial. The obverse of the coin still features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait had been in use since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Lincoln remains the first real person to appear on a circulating American coin. On the reverse, however, the wheat stalks were replaced with an image of the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. This design was created by Frank Gasparo, who later became chief engraver of the United States Mint. His design is notable because it was the first time a seated statue, the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, was included on a coin, even though it is very small. The 1959 Lincoln Memorial cent was also the first small denomination coin in the U.S. to depict an actual monument rather than a symbolic design. This shift reflected changing attitudes in coin design during the mid-20th century, leaning more toward realism and national pride. When the Lincoln Memorial reverse debuted in 1959, it was met with mixed reviews. Some collectors missed the traditional wheat ears that had adorned the reverse for 50 years. Others praised the new design for its historical depth and architectural beauty. The coin was struck in two main U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, while Denver coins are marked with a small d under the date. Both versions were released in large numbers and quickly entered circulation across the country. In terms of composition, the 1959 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This copper-based composition gives it a distinctive reddish-brown color when uncirculated, although coins often turn brown or dark with age due to oxidation and handling. Over 600 million 1959 pennies were minted in Philadelphia alone, and over 1.2 billion were minted in Denver. With over 1.8 billion coins in total, it's easy to see why many people still find these coins in pocket change today. Even though most 1959 Lincoln Memorial cents are common, their historical significance and the switch from wheat to memorial reverse make them an important coin for any U.S. coin collection. They represent the beginning of a new era in cent design that would continue for the next 50 years. So, what is the value of a 1959 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin today? For circulated examples in average condition, the value is usually just 1 cent, its face value. Uncirculated coins can range from 10 cents to a few dollars depending on their luster and condition. High-grade examples certified MS 65 or above by grading companies like PeaceGS or NGC can bring $10 to $25. Proof versions, struck especially for collectors, can range from $5 to $30. However, one extremely rare variety of this coin, a 1959 D-Wheat reverse cent, has been valued at over $1 million because it is believed to be a mint error and possibly unique. That's right. A 1959 D-cent was discovered with the wheat ears design instead of the memorial reverse, making it an incredible rarity. This coin defied the official records and is considered a mysterious transitional error. It reportedly sold for $1.7 million, though some experts still debate its origin. Regardless, this shows how certain errors or rare varieties can command astronomical prices in the coin collecting world. For most collectors, though, the 1959 cent is more valuable as a piece of history than as a financial investment. It's a great starter coin for young collectors and those interested in American history, as it marks the beginning of the Memorial Cent series that ran until 2008. If you're lucky enough to find a 1959 Lincoln cent in great condition or one from a mint set, hold on to it. While it may not be worth a fortune, it's a significant piece of numismatic history that adds depth to any collection. Proof versions from 1959 are particularly sought after by collectors who focus on early memorial cents. When examining your 1959 cents, always look for unusual characteristics like doubling in the letters or numbers, unusual colors, or striking errors. Sometimes small die variations or misstrikes can add value, especially to collectors who focus on coin errors and varieties. Another thing to note is the overall historical context. The year 1959 was during President Eisenhower's final year in office. The Cold War was in full swing, and American culture was rapidly changing. This coin, in a way, captures a moment in time, a bridge between early 20th century America and the modern age. Many collectors consider the Lincoln Memorial reverse design to be elegant and symbolic. With Lincoln's statue visible between the columns of the memorial, the coin also represents unity, justice, and national strength. It's a small but powerful reminder of the ideals Lincoln stood for. The Lincoln Memorial Cent remained in use until 2008, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Bicentennial Series in 2009 and then the Union Shield Reverse in 2010. But this coin 1 cent 1959D Lincoln Memorial United States coin history. 1961 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent coin from the United States. This humble penny has a story that reflects America's economic, artistic, and cultural journey, and in rare cases, it has even reached astronomical values. Let's explore why. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This marked the first time a real person, rather than an allegorical figure, appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. The initial wheat cent design, created by Victor David Brenner, remained until 1958 in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse of the penny was changed. The wheat ears were replaced by the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo. This was a symbolic move that tied the coin not only to Lincoln's legacy, but also to one of the nation's most iconic monuments in Washington, D.C. The 1961 Lincoln Memorial Cent was part of this second generation of pennies. It carried the same obverse portrait of Lincoln by Brenner, with the reverse showcasing the Lincoln Memorial in intricate detail. Interestingly, if you look closely at the coin, you can actually see a tiny representation of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, a fine detail many miss. Minted in large quantities, the 1961 cent was produced at two main facilities, Philadelphia and Denver. The coins without a mint mark were struck in Philadelphia, while those with a small d beneath the date came from the Denver Mint. No coins were minted in San Francisco that year for circulation. The composition of the 1961 penny was primarily 95% copper and 5% zinc, a formula used since 1864 and retained until mid-1982. This high copper content gives the coin its rich reddish-brown tone, especially when well-preserved. It also means older Lincoln cents are worth more than face value just for their metal content, in terms of production. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 753 million cents in 1961, while the Denver Mint produced over 1.7 billion. This makes the 1961 D one of the most common Lincoln cents of the decade. However, rarity is not the only factor in determining value. Condition, mint errors, and collector demand also play a crucial role. For coin collectors, condition is key. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect mint state. A 1961 cent in circulated condition is typically worth between 2 and 10 cents due to its copper content. But when found in uncirculated condition, especially graded MS 65 or higher, it can command several dollars. The real excitement comes with error coins. Some 1961 Lincoln cents have been discovered with double die obverse, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. These varieties are rare, and depending on the severity and visibility of the error, they can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, one of the most famous high-grade specimens of the 1961 D Lincoln cent sold for an astonishing price. Graded MS 67 plus red by PCGS, with virtually flawless surfaces and full original luster. It fetched $1.3 million at a private auction. It was a record-breaking moment that stunned the numismatic world. What made that coin so valuable was not just its condition. It was the perfect storm of pristine preservation, brilliant red copper color, a high collector grade, and the growing demand for top-tier Lincoln cents in the marketplace. The buyer saw it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own a perfect example of a classic American coin. While such high figures are exceptional and rare, they highlight the importance of checking your old coins carefully. That old penny in your jar could be a hidden gem. Look for coins with sharp detail, no wear, and vivid red color. These are the traits that collectors and grading services prize most. The Lincoln Cent series remains one of the most collected coins in the United States. Its long run, variety of designs, and broad historical significance make it a favorite for both novice and seasoned collectors. Each coin tells a small story about its time, and the 1961 issue is no exception. From the Cold War era to the Civil Rights Movement, 1961 was a transformative year in American history. The penny that circulated through that time carries with it echoes of change, progress, and national identity, fitting for a coin bearing the face of a president who symbolized unity and perseverance. Today, coin enthusiasts still hunt for 1961 cents in rolls, bags, and old collections. Even a well-worn example is worth more than face value due to its copper content alone. But it's the rare, high-grade, or error coins that bring in the real rewards, both financially and historically, that if you're holding 1961 penny in your hand, take a closer look. Does it shine with full luster? Is the strike sharp and clear? Does it show signs of doubling or unusual features? It might be worth far more than you think, possibly thousands, or in extremely rare cases, even over $1 million. That wraps up our in-depth look at this coin, 1 cent 1961 Lincoln Memorial United States coin history.